Now, when you were starting out and when you were hitting the New York scene, okay, who were some of the comics? And was there like a ton of comics? I know I started in Philly in '88, and like the open mic, we only had like 25 comics. Like now there's like thousands, but it was like we the Comedy Works and the Comedy Factory outlet, and then and so you get up on Wednesday and Thursday night, and you would always get up and maybe in front, and people came to the shows. Now it may have been in front of if you won the Comedy Factory out, you picked out of the hat. That's why a lot of us got jobs at the door because then you got slotted in a good spot.
Yeah.
Comedy Works would just thing you, but we had stage time to get, and then another guy opened a club that you could do open mics. But but there wasn't, as I said, there wasn't a lot of us, and only like maybe 12 of us were serious about it. The other ones were just fucking around. But for you, when you were starting, when you were going, well, did any of the guys that you were with at Dixon's follow you into the city, or was that like completely like those guys just hung? Like who were
That's
some
a
of those
really,
guys?
yeah, that's interesting because most of those guys were content to stay out there. And of course, there were those guys that you probably knew of, the Magnificent Seven, the Long Island guys, Bob Nelson, Rob
Bobby
Bartlett.
Woods,
Yeah,
Rob
all
Woods.
those
I remember
guys,
I was
who I worked with all at Dixon's. Um, and so, and those guys could sort of pierce that system in there and get on at those clubs. But they had their own things going, and they didn't see it the same way. Except for I think it was Don McHenry was a guy that sort of we buddied up and went to New York because to audition at the Improv in those days they only did it once a month, and it was on a Sunday night. But they opened the door at I think it was like 8 o'clock in the morning to give out numbers. So we were like, I think I went and crashed at his place that night. We had to really get up for this thing, and we did it. And we got there and we got our numbers, and then we hung out in the city all day. So it was a big kind of effort to do that audition. Um, and so that's how it started for me. And I think we both passed, I think, but then then you basically it was like an apprentice program. That just meant that you passed audition. Now you got to hang around, and then you got to figure out all that, all the machinations of how you're going to get on. And when you do start getting on, you get on really late. And it's kind of weird for acts that are already working because we were both working. We could both get gigs and stuff. So I kind of figured out a way to just, I did all my gigs on the weekends, and there was no way you're going to get weekend spots when you first get into those clubs. So it kind of worked out. And then sooner or later, I started to assimilate into the club and became a regular. But it takes time.
Coop's Common Corner.